Let's talk Tennessee recruiting. Josh Heupel and the Volunteers have the 9th-ranked class in America, but they're looking for more. Before we get to some of the recruiting momentum taking place right now at Tennessee, let's bring on Volquest Austin Price. Austin, what do you make of top 100 wide receiver J.J. Harrell? He's the only wide receiver commitment in the class, but he made some recent comments about his recruitment being open. He committed in February, but now, what do you make of his commitment?
Well, I think, you look at this like any kid that's a pretty solid player, obviously a good solid ranking, Josh. When you commit early, you all of a sudden start to feel like, wait a minute, everybody's talking about this guy and that guy, and no one's talking about me no more. And then you put out a couple of tweets, and here comes the flurry. And people are talking about J.J. Harrell again. I think he's saying a lot of the right things to Tennessee. But if you're Tennessee, you have to consider Ole Miss. You have to consider a lot of schools that are after him a real threat. Alabama was kind of in there early. Before he picked Tennessee. I'm not sure they're much of a factor still there, but I know Ole Miss has made a strong push there. And, again, Tennessee's got to take that one seriously. They'd love to hold on to J.J. Harrell, but they also have to continue to recruit a big, broad wide receiver board as if they're not going to hold on to J.J. Harrell. So you kind of have to plan for some contingencies with one of the top players in the state of Mississippi.
Well, you're right. We are talking about J.J. Harrell here on the Inside Scoop, so maybe there was something to his plan. Now, I am going to ask you about some recruiting momentum, especially with the 5-star wide receivers. But first, Tennessee fans, do me a favor, like this video and subscribe to the On3 YouTube page. I'd appreciate that. All right, Tennessee is in it for several top wide receivers. I mean, hey, Georgia can't sign them all, so Tennessee is going to have their shot. Who do you think right now Josh Heupel's making a priority at the wide receiver position?
Well, let's start in-state with Amari Jefferson. Everybody's going to say Mike Matthews. They're going to say Ryan Wingo, and those guys are important too, but I think the most important receiver in this class is Amari Jefferson. He's an hour and 20 minutes down the road in Chattanooga. You look at who else is in on him: Alabama, Georgia, Auburn. You name the schools that are after Amari Jefferson, they're all top-end schools. And so for my liking, because he is an in-state kid, because he's an hour and 20 minutes down the road, that's what makes him the most important. And if you can keep J.J. Harrell, add Amari Jefferson, and let's say you're able to land a Wingo or a Mike Matthews, that's a pretty good wide receiver haul, right? Kelsey Pope will have had a really good year in year 2 as a wide receivers coach. This is after signing basically a top 50 player, Nathan Leacock, last year. Again, I lean Amari Jefferson. After that, I go Mike Matthews ahead of Ryan Wingo. Again, that's based off people I've talked to and based off the fact that, I kind of like how versatile he is in Hype's offense. I don't think you can go wrong either way, but it sure seems like Matthews is going to leave the state of Georgia. Wingo may end up in the state of Georgia long term, as the Bulldogs have made a strong push for the St. Louis wide receiver. Either way, Tennessee's swimming in the right waters.
Yeah, it's an exciting offense, and I think if you're a Tennessee fan, you're going to get a great wide receiver in this class, maybe 2, maybe even 3. You just wonder where it's going to come from right now because there are a lot left on the board. Austin, we're 3 weeks into the evaluation period here in the month of May. So who are some of the top targets that Tennessee coaches have been keeping an eye on?
Well, let's start at running back. Tennessee and running backs coach Jerry Mack, they've kind of been all over. Peyton Lewis, he's a on 300 kid from Salem, Virginia. Will officially visit Tennessee in June. Will officially visit South Carolina in June. Will be, I think could be back in for the Memorial Day event. We'll see. Tennessee's swinging hard to get a bunch of kids here for that weekend. Some will make it, some won't. You look at Braylon Russell, big, sturdy back out of Arkansas. That's Arkansas, Tennessee, Baylor, South Carolina, all in on him. Daniel Hill continues to evade, whatever you want to say. Tennessee kept swinging last year at a guy like Noah Rogers. Noah Rogers kept hinting around like he's going to come. He never made it. I keep calling Daniel Hill this year's Noah Rogers for Tennessee, but there is some promise out there that he could make it back in here at the end of the month. If that happens, I think that could kind of, stir a little bit of chatter out there amongst the running back room. Elsewhere, I look at offensive and defensive lines. It's, Williams Winery. It's Cam Franklin. offensive line. It's, the Satterwhite kid out of Ohio. It's Max Anderson out of Texas, Ronan O'Connell out of the mid-state. Those are all very, very important. It's a line of scrimmage league, and I expect Tennessee to continue to try to swing big, get some offensive and defensive linemen.
Yeah, Tennessee's always looking for great players in the trenches. They recruit well in the Southeast. Hell, Tennessee recruits well nationally, but now they recruit well internationally. Just yesterday, Tennessee goes overseas to find their next great pass rusher in Emmanuel Okoye. Tell me more, Austin, about how they found him in London.
Well, again, kids from Nigeria, found by the NFL Academy, a great story. And, the NFL Academy was a big part of his announcement yesterday. Has really played 1 year of football and is an athletic specimen. Having seen him in person, he is long and lean. And if his ability to move matches up with just his body, it's going to be really impressive. Now, he is super raw. Mm-hmm. And so the question is, what does he play at the next level? I think he can play on either side of the ball. And I think, there's some versatility there. But really credit the staff. They were able to get him in here for the orange and white game, so he's able to see what it's kind of like. It's not quite, they had 55,000 people or so here, 60,000 people. Had enough of an atmosphere that he was kind of blown away by that. And I think that really stuck with him as he took his other visits, to USC, Texas Tech, and some others. And ultimately, it was projected for 24, reclassifies to 23, and will be on campus in just a couple of weeks.
Wow. Well, I'm sure if he enjoyed Neyland Stadium for the spring game, wait till he gets a load of the season. That'll be fun for Emmanuel Okoye. Nice pickup for the Tennessee Volunteers. All right, but now we're heading into the month of June. That's where things really get exciting in recruiting, and there's going to be a ton of official visitors coming to campus in Knoxville. Who do you think is some of the most important June official visitors that'll step foot on campus?
Well, it's some of the guys we just talked about. Williams Winery, it's Cam Franklin, it's Amari Jefferson, Jaden Riddell's another big one for Tennessee. And then, of course, you impress the guys that you've already got in the boat, whether it's a Jonathan Eccles, a J.J. Harrell. All those are important. But if you're talking about just uncommitted players, I would definitely lean those D linemen. Cam Franklin, Williams Winery. Those are two players that I think Tennessee covet. They were very much in the mix for those two. And it's one of those situations where a good official visit could be the difference between landing one in December and not.
And Josh Heupel and his staff seem to do a great job whenever they get top recruits on campus. All right, Austin, thanks for checking in with us. Talk a little Tennessee today on the Inside Scoop.
Appreciate it, Josh. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Make sure you smash that subscribe button for me. And remember to check out all the videos on the On3 YouTube page.